We're about to get ecclesiastical up in this bitch with Conclave, which follows the College of Cardinals as they face the selection of a new pope after the previous papal personage pops his clogs. The task of organising all of this falls to Ralph Fiennes as Dean of the College, Cardinal Lawrence, while everyone else animal houses it in the background. Out of the hundreds of cardinals, there are a handful of main contenders vying to be the god's bollocks and take the popage. There's the traditionalist, the progressive, the moderate, the regressive, the wild card who turns up at the last minute, and our boy Lawrence, who is horrified to find out that he might be in with a slim chance of winning this thing and taking home a nice hat. His comfort zone, however, is in middle management, and he does it with aplomb, moving his way through a holy sea of egos, doing his best to deal with some of the extra baggage some of them have brought with them, whilst trying to make it not look like he's removing rivals from the board. Whilst that sounds thrilling in theory, what it means in practice is long scenes of men standing around in the cafeteria, their dorm rooms, whispering in stairwells, or where the main action happens, sitting in the Sistine Chapel like they're in a borough council meeting. Which doesn't sound quite as good, but what saves Conclave is that everyone is acting the living shit out of it. I wouldn't have thought a film where it's basically 2 hours of Ralph Fiennes breathing heavily into a microphone would hook me, but here we are. John Lithgow is great as the ambitious cardinal who acts like communion wouldn't melt, while Stanley Tucci plays the part of the reluctant favourite, and the three navigate the various conspiracies and controversies that float around the hall. The problem is that said conspiracies and controversies are relatively tame, and I haven't decided yet whether it's because they themselves are pretty insignificant, or that real-world controversies are so wild, frequent, and ultimately inconsequential that I've become numb to them. The conspiracies and controversies also hint that something else, something bigger is going on, but really nothing is, and everything is only one level deep. That is in vast contrast to the last time we got a peek behind the conclave curtain in Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, in which the complexity of the conspiracy possibly went a little bit too far in the other direction. There's also a third act twist that doesn't really matter compared to the other controversies already raised in the movie, though this is the one that will cause certain corners of the internet to get their cassocks in a twist. In the end, Conclave is beautifully shot and well acted, with great performances by most but particularly Ralph Fiennes. It's also for the most part well written, with the sparring between certain characters being the highlight, while there are 2 tent-post big speech moments, the weaker of the two being the one that sways the election, the winner of which doesn't really matter. 7 out of 10.